Okay, hello and welcome to the next episode of Final Fantasy XIII on the Deep Dive. We're continuing on with what is, generally speaking, one of my favorite Final Fantasy experiences, despite the fact that that is an unpopular opinion, and about to reach the point where things are about to get a little bit more serious, if they weren't serious already. Getting a little bit of feedback on my phone here. There we go. And so we just left off with Hope deciding not to murder Snow, which was good job, Hope. Probably made the right decision. And we're now here with his dad. So I mentioned a bit on the description here on the Facebook that we're going to be focusing a little bit about the series' treatment of female characters as a whole, as well as how this game does a surprisingly good job of it, which surprising because the video game industry as a whole does a pretty poor job of representing female protagonists and female characters as a whole. And so this game stands as a pretty good example of how to do it well, and how to do it well in a way that's not even all that hard.
The Lassie continue their desperate flight, and the military has now launched an all-out campaign.
And of course, one of the easiest things that they've done to do it well is that each of the female characters is fully developed, which seems self-evident that that's a good place to start, but it's surprisingly uncommon for video games and media as a whole to represent female characters as being whole and complete characters on their own right, and not simply determined by them being X character's girlfriend or X character's mother, which is way too common. In this case, we get Lightning as a minor character's sister, which is as close as we get to that kind of simple, familiar tie-in. But one of the important things about Lightning as a character is that
he gave it back to me.
Her motivations are a big pass on the Bechdel test, essentially, in that they have basically nothing to do with anyone other than her own desires to see her sister again. She's completely self-motivated about saving her sister. And I think that's a really important,
I hated myself for not trusting her.
Oh, we're getting some character development here.
It hurt too much. I couldn't face it.
So yeah, there's two important things that this game has done to really drive home the point that it's focusing on strong female protagonists. First off, Lightning has no romantic interests in the cast. And literally no romantic interests in her motivations at all. And so there is no...
I'm sorry.
There is no the Mulan problem where the main character goes on this journey to save the world and their reward is they get married to that guy. For Lightning, there is no motivation in that regard. There's no... The payoff isn't marriage. And so they really just completely shut down that aspect of mediocre character development that happens a lot with female protagonists.
My dad said he'd like to see you guys. He wants to talk.
Maybe you should put a shirt on, Snow. Now, of course, Lightning could be a little bit better developed as a protagonist as a whole, but at least her flaws are mostly due to the fact that she is essentially Squall, but without you being able to see in her head, and so she's really hard to understand as a character.
Blame is mine.
Oh, come on, Snow. We're done with this, Snow. He's shaking his head.
If it wasn't for Snow, I wouldn't be here right now.
Snow. Did she say anything to you?
Exactly one thing.
She said to get him home. And that's exactly what you've done.
And see, here's Snow learning to take responsibility. Because at the beginning of the game, he was all like, yeah, I'm gonna save everything, and everything's gonna work out.
Hard to believe you're all
Whereas Snow is facing up the fact that he didn't save everyone. He's now basically taking responsibility. But like
No.
like always, Snow just goes a little bit too far with it.
You bumped into you. Sometimes it's even just people who've walked by one of you. They think they're tainted and want every one of them purged.
The Sanctum's a puppet of the Foul Sea. To them, our lives don't mean anything at all. We'll stop this. Take down the Sanctum and save Cocoon.
You've thought that through?
He clearly hasn't.
If Lassie take down the Sanctum, fear of Pulse will only get worse. It won't stop at fear. People will take up arms and stand against you. Can you imagine it? The rampant violence.
Oh, finally someone's
Government's
speaking
control
sense
is
into
gone.
Snow.
The citizens will revolt.
Yeah, it turns out if your terrorists take over the government, you're just gonna leave a bunch of violence.
Smile and eat a bullet. That means you too.
I know I'm part of this. I'm on your side of the fence. Harbor of Lassie and a public enemy.
Coming here was a bad idea.
This is your home.
So for the first time, we're
We're
getting
all here.
a little bit of
Let's figure
guidance.
this out together.
And the most important line in all, not all storytelling, but all like action-based storytelling, the let's figure this out together. Because a lot of plots, especially when characters are not given the time to think about it, it's basically the idea of people don't know what to do, so they're just doing stuff, and it's not necessarily helping them with their goal. And until they find out, like, this is the specific thing I need to do, you're not really going to get marching towards the ending. So, Bartholomew, upon immediately uttering the thing, is like, alright, let's figure out a sequence of events that leads to us fulfilling our goal. Instead, we just immediately interrupted by this. So, which is a little bit of a stalling tactic, at face value, because it, instead of the characters immediately going towards the end of the story, towards figuring out what to do, they instead... Ooh, what do we got here? Oh boy, I hope we get... Nope, we just are in there. We instead get the... Oh yeah, instead of going directly to the ending, we instead get this sidetrack where we're trying to figure out what to do here. Diversity, thank you. Which, at face value, is not the best scenario. It's mostly just extending the story for no tangible reason. But, even to odds, oh boy. We got such bad paradigms. Ah, come on. Okay. Yeah, so instead of approaching the end, we instead get an extension of it, which at its surface can be a little annoying, but what this game does with it really does help develop the themes a little bit more, because them not knowing what to do really works out in the favor for developing the game's central plot line, which is, do you have the capacity to make your own decisions? And in this case, this part of the story is basically saying, no, you don't, because all of these characters aren't deciding for themselves. They're acting on instinct based on the things that are available to them, and not based on careful consideration. Okay, screw Delta attack. Actually, no, let's get the best in the world combat clinic. And then we'll have... Nah, we don't need the... Do we want multiple synergists? I don't know, man. Screw Sentinels. I hate the Sentinel role. Oh boy. How do we do this? I really don't like this team. This is technically a good team. We have a Sentinel, Medic, and an Attacker role. Really don't like this set of 3. I might have to ditch aggression. For smart bomb. Okay. Boy, this is gonna be some interesting. There's gonna be some interesting fights we're gonna have here. Oh boy. Didn't you have to go back? Oh yeah, I had to go back and get these. Don't want to miss those upgrades. Okay. So, cause yeah, the main characters not being able to gather their bearings goes a long ways towards forcing them to halfway through the game essentially give up on their goals, which normally in a storyline, giving up on your primary goal is not exactly a sign of, is not exactly a good step to take in order to resolving the main story, but the way that the story is structured, them making that decision partway through actually has a huge impact on developing more of on helping the story develop. Because if they were given a chance to carefully sit around and think about what to do next, they would do it, and then the game would end without really answering the question of without satisfactorily answering the question of do you have the capacity to make your own decisions. They would answer it, the answer would be yes, but it would feel a lot more arbitrary because they would simply have just entered a situation where like, yep, I'm just deciding completely apropos of myself that I can do this now. And then they would succeed and the story would kind of be over. And it's just less good storytelling in that kind of scenario. Ooh boy, we just got blown up. Come on, Fang. There you go. Oh yeah, did I equip the super sword? I have a feeling I did not equip the super sword. Thank you, Fang. Oh yes, I did. The Axis Blade. Alright, off to the boss. Let's see, yeah. The other... So continuing to talk about... Oh, come on. Someone sees me? Who? Who sees me? Oh, man. Apparently these people. So continuing to talk about how developing into female characters, one thing that the Final Fantasy series as a whole has been decently good at is... Oh boy, curse is bad. Is the development of female characters, because as early as Final Fantasy VI, you've had female main characters, and as early as Final Fantasy II, you had female protagonists. Final Fantasy I being an exception in that, like, you didn't really have characters as protagonists, so it's difficult to determine them as characters rather than as just avatars. It's kind of the Dragon Quest problem. And so the series as a whole has a pretty good relationship with being mostly... Oh boy, a bazooka's coming my way. Mostly devoted to having female characters in some capacity. Although it has had some misses, what with Final Fantasy X-2 being a little bit of flanderization of the characters during the two games, and doesn't do the best job of staying true to the characters of the first game. But still, this is not the first time that the Final Fantasy series has had an explicit female main character. Ooh boy. Strength plus 50. Yeah, let's do it. Get that huge damage out there, Fang. And so... Oh yeah, this is kind of a tough boss fight coming up. And Final Fantasy XV, the most recent one, made some in their expanded universe has made some interesting choices. Whereas all of the female characters have a bum rap as far as characters go, dying halfway through the story, well before they're given enough screen time to really form a connection to them, and really almost functioning more as motivations for the other characters, rather than having their own story arcs themselves and existing as themselves. Which is disappointing, because there are many things about the characterization in that game that are done well.
Order the battalion. They'll take out the whole building next.
And especially given their track record, Final Fantasy XV seems more of a misstep for reasons that are difficult to... that would require a lot of analysis to figure out exactly what specifically they did wrong. But yeah, long story short, Luna, well, spoiler free, a lot of the female characters just vanish from the story well before they're able to contribute much. But as a whole, that describes Final Fantasy XV as a whole. Characters, not much happens. Characters vanish, and then the story goes on. Also, good idea, Snow. Except that's a good way to get your hand shot.
Don't shoot! I'll show you what a Lassie looks like!
Yeah, like, how is he not getting his hand shot to death? You can't just hold up a coat like that and them only having to shoot at the coat.
Me! I'm a Lassie! Surprised? Expected some kind of monster? I'm flesh and blood, like you, an ordinary citizen of Cocoon. Don't you get it? This has been our home our whole lives. How could we even think about destroying it? We want to protect this place just as much as you.
Snow trying to do the right thing. How do you have intel on him? They were nobodies before this. It's got to be some sort of propaganda state for secret police for sure.
I understand your plight. However, the Pulse threat is not so easily dismissed. The very existence of Ulysses puts every last one of us in danger. Tell me, do you really think your life is worth more than the lives of millions of Cocoon citizens? I do not. And so, it falls to me to order your execution. It's that simple. It is my responsibility to see you put down.
Those are some cool shots.
Your lives are forfeit.
Just the staging of the scene is very good.
Then kill this scene! Why do other people have to die? The purge has got to stop!
Do you think we want to purge our own people? If any trace of Pulse remains, the populace will erupt into chaos.
Mostly because of what you guys are doing.
Without the purge, Cocoon will die.
I gave no order!
Oh, that's bad. And somehow Yagrosh survives. Or does he? The only time that enemy soldiers have accuracy in any fiction is when shooting in friendly fire. Or during a betrayal sequence. Firing at protagonists, never hit. firing at antagonists
We
all the
threatened
way.
you and forced you to help us. Got it?
There must be something
Do
else.
what she says. I can't let you get dragged into this. I want to stay here, but there's no place for Alyssa.
They'll hunt us
going with
down
the others.
somehow. I like how Hope just
survive
knows
somehow.
how to tie knots like that, as if
Promise you
they
that.
have Boy Scouts in Cocoon or any sort of practical things in this
Dad.
obviously upper class home.
I hate
This
to run out on you.
You're not
mansion.
running. This is not running away. You've made a choice.
Sure felt like running away,
Survive
Bartholomew.
And do what needs to be done.
You mean complete my focus?
Don't you worry about that. You make the choice.
Yes. Continuing the theme of do you have the power to make the choices? Here is the start of the passageway as maybe you do get to make a choice. So up until point the answer's been you just kind of do what you can, and now Bart is like, no, you do get the power to make your choices. And we're going to see those words echo in this story quite a bit in the coming few scenes. And now one of the hardest boss fights in the game, actually. Hey there. Please tell me I'm not trying to do this with snow in my body. Yep, there we go.
Turn, hero.
What? I can handle a little gas.
Catch your breath. I'll throw in some hits for you.
Yes, I got this boomerang that I can't use until we're down in pulse, and that's just fine. Oh boy, do I have a combat clinic? Yep. And actually, let's do this. This is just gonna hurt. Ouchies. Alright, Hope, help us out here.
Thanks.
Nope, not a summon. Let's do a Libra. What do we got here? Cannot be attacked at close range and physical attacks. Immune to all stats, so... Okay, Relentless Assault it is. Ow, 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 ow. It's good that we just gave Fang a crap ton of physical strength that she can't use. That's really helpful here. Ooh, boy, that's a lot of damage. Okay, this is not going well. Come on, give me the shell. There we go. Keep that combo going. Oh, this thing can't be staggered. Good to know. Gosh. Ooh, boy. Nope, we need that. Actually, no, we need more than that. Okay, that'll do it. So yeah, these boss fights are getting pretty hard, but it's a good chance to talk more about other stuff. So yeah, the other thing that this story does well is that of the two arguable main characters, you have Vanille and Fang. Vanille, of course, being arguable because she is, you know, the narrator of most sequences, so it's pretty easy to make an argument that she is in some respect a main character. And with Fang and Vanille, you basically have, despite the fact that they are a couple in the story, their motivations are integrated in a good way because both of them are equally determined to protecting the other, or basically they're going through the story to try and save the other from the bad things that can happen. I'm gonna try and ooh boy, someone just got Zapzored. I'm gonna try and keep spoilers to a minimum, but both Vanille and Fang have equal roles in equally dedicated to trying to protect each other. It's not a simple like I will protect you and you will be protected. They both have fully developed characters, characteristics and motivations that inform what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they try and go about it. Ooh boy, don't kill me. Okay, thanks. Yep, and there goes you. Okay. You're gonna have to stay in diversity for a lot of it. There's no immune to all still can be attacked. Oh, right. Ah, yeah, you got turrets. Actually reading menus. That's good. These things aren't. I have a feeling these things can be debuffed. Well, let's find out. Come on, get that slow guy out. Okay, no time. Right, I forgot that you're supposed to attack the guns. That makes this... That means that I was wasting a bunch of time up until now. But that's okay. We figured this one out now. No, you need to continue healing. Come on, Hope. Don't just let yourself get shot. There we go. Ow. Ooh boy. Everything immune to slow? Everything's immune to slow. Oh, jeez. Oh, please stop. Oh, no, we're losing. Losing buffs. Oh boy. Yeah, this is basically a final exam on, do you know how to paradigm switch effectively? Okay. Ah, good. Just in time. Ow, 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 ow. Ah, there's so much. Well, clearly we're not trying to run, mate. We're just standing here shooting magic at you. Okay. That should vastly reduce the amount of damage that we take. Oh boy. Ooh, good save. Oh, jeez. So yeah, one of the important... Oh, come on. An important thing that makes the... that I think is just a good thing to make sure that you're keeping diversity in mind is that the main cast in this game is 3 men and 3 women, which really helps drive home the point that this is something that they thought about. This is something that they explicitly considered some amount of gender equality in the cast itself. Oh boy. And this isn't just an afterthought put in. It's clear from the ground up they actually went with intention in this story creation, which shows it actually is a good example. Like, this stands so far above treatment of female characters in video games, where even games that feature female protagonists like Remember Me or get a huge amount of flack for that, whereas this one it just kind of slid under the radar to a certain extent. It was just kind of given as fact that, you know, the main character is, and the poster child for their entire series is Lightning. That's, oh, something's going on. Oh, it's doing even more. Yeah, the fact that Lightning was the main character caused way less of a stink than even things like BioShock Infinite, which had what's her face, Elizabeth, as the ostensible main character, and yet all of the advertisement and all of the art for the game focused on the whatever his name was, that was the player character, who is vastly unimportant as far as the game is concerned, and yet was still featured really prominently in the game's advertisements, which would be akin to Snow being on the cover of Final Fantasy XIII. He's still a character in the story, but is by no means the main character. Is no means should be the focus. Should by no means be the focus character. And this game just unapologetically positioned Lightning as the not just the main character, but the poster child for the series. And I think it also speaks a lot to... Oh boy, time to reset. I think it also speaks a lot to the... Can you actually be debuffed now? Nah. It actually speaks a lot to how well the game has represented female protagonists, that it was no big stretch for them to have one be the poster child. They'd already had Final Fantasy X, which featured Yuna as essentially the main character, even though she wasn't. Even though Titus probably had a little bit higher of a claim to that title, but still, it was essentially Titus and Yuna being the main characters of that story. And then Final Fantasy X-2 coming out, and Yuna, Riku, and Pain all being the playable characters, and having an all-female protagonist cast. And so, jumping from that to Final Fantasy XII, where Ash, the queen, was literally the main character, even though you weren't controlling her, was interesting. Although the reason you're not controlling in Final Fantasy XII is because that story is structured in such a weird way that you're playing this character who is by no means the main character, is by no means important to anything that's happening, but is just this passersby, essentially this person coming around and watching the lives of people way more important than him do things that are way beyond what has anything to do with him. And it was an interesting choice story-wise, but really frustrating, because Vaughn, the main character, or the player character in Final Fantasy XII, is deeply uninteresting. And the story really suffers from the choice of telling it through the lens of this street urchin who joins the role of people doing much more than him.
When it comes to home and family, we never keep either as close as we should. Whoever stops to think that this time could be the last?
Spoilers, Vanille. I'm not supposed to know this is the last time we're seeing Hope's dad. Spoiler alert. After your family's house has been blown up, it's no surprise that you're not seeing his dad again. Yes, I would like to save my progress. And so, unlike a lot of video games that have come out with female protagonists and have either hedged their bets, as BioShock Infinite did, or received a huge backlash, as things like Remember Me did, Lightning, being the main character of this story, was relatively... I'm not going to say well received, because we're still talking about women featured on the internet, but wasn't met with as much vile as even games later on would be.
No, I'm fine.
Okay then.
And by vile, I guess I meant vileness. Was met with much less putrid bile. And now a bunch of Crystarium, because y'all got a whole bunch. Ooh yeah. Get your synergist up, because why not? Because yeah, that's all we really need to do. Come on. I do like, despite the fact that the Crystarium system could have been done a little better, it is still rewarding to like watch this go forward. It feels real nice. The graphical flourishes really drive home the way that it advances, and it's just a very pleasant and rewarding system. Just the way that it is presented to you as these things flow forward. You watch your stats go up. It tells you as they're going up, and you get new abilities and you level up rolls, and it's all very nice. It feels good. Despite the fact that it's not as, I guess you could say it's not as well developed as the sphere grid system was in Final Fantasy X, or it doesn't offer as much flexibility, or it doesn't feel as, ooh, in peril, that's good. It just doesn't feel as much like you have as much customization. It just feels better to get those levels, whereas with the sphere grid having the thing where you use spheres to unlock them, and you can run out of those spheres, and it's kind of annoying. There's really nothing annoying about the Crystarium system other than the fact that you do have to do it. You don't level automatically, which has its pluses and minuses. Leveling automatically means that you don't have to put any thought into it. You just gain levels, your characters get stronger, and that's that. But the advantage of making you go through a menu and watch it happen is you get to see exactly how much you're developing. You get to watch and see that Vanille's magic is getting way higher than her strength, and it lets you feel more connected to how your characters are growing, rather than just, oh, they're level 25 and they were level 22 earlier. That doesn't really mean a lot in things like the Tales series or Dragon Quest or Star Ocean, because unless they learn a cool new ability, it's just a number went higher, and it just is a little, there's just a little less personal connection to it.
What do you say? Let's go check it out.
Sure. Huh?
We interrupt this program to bring you a breaking news update.
Nope, you don't get to have fun, Vanille.
Who surfaced in Palom and attacked the city's citizens are still on the run from authorities.
That's not how I heard it. Saw it go down.
Sanctum soldiers are tracking their location, but have yet to engage the fugitives.
They...
The hostages have been confirmed.
That's...
What's wrong?
You're literally showing footage of the Sanctum soldiers being shot down by the l'Cie.
Yep. Looks like the army finally found him.
You can't just say, oh, they haven't engaged while showing footage of the l'Cie.
You should just blow him away with the l'Cie.
They're all infected by pulse or something by now anyway.
And that's xenophobia at its finest. Yeah, they're all just infected by pulse air. Sure.
Come on, let's go.
This game does a good job of just showing how that sort of indoctrination and propaganda machine can really turn against you and shape people's conception of what is true.
Sure, everybody's fine. Right?
Although, because it's not a main theme of the story, they don't really develop it a whole lot. They just kind of point it out, and it's a backdrop to the rest of the story.
Listen up. Gotta make the most of this. Right?
No, Saz, we don't have to make the most of
I knew
this.
we'd be saying goodbye soon. Better to do it with a smile. The Pompous Sancta Parade. A pageant commemorating the war between Cocoon.
Because that's why you do parades, to commemorate war. Gotta love the good Valentine's War parade.
The show is starting. Look.
Gotta have your weird customs for sure. Like that clock thing, and it's like the countdown for the New Year's, and then little CDs fall from the sky and cut you with their razor sharp edges.
Party time, little lady.
Who are you to tell me how to party? when hologram technology becomes commonplace, this is what every celebration just looks like. Why have actual dancers when you can just have hologram dancers in the sky surrounded by sky water? Oh, they're supposed to be Shiva and Ifrit, right. Can't do that with practical effects.
With pulse-born spite and savage might, I will destroy Cocoon!
It's like the Dragon Head in West Edmonton Mall. And yeah, holographic fire, much less of a public danger than fake fire. You can just make that get right in people's faces and not have to worry about them actually being ignited or anything. And of course, we summon Shiva. Probably? Oh no, that's Rama. Good old use of that Final Fantasy lore.
I will fulfill my focus!
Ragnarok!
Alcee, grant me strength!
Gosh. Special effects budget on that animation must be intense. How do you program holograms? Anyways. Now, given Hamlet rules, the play was good enough to spark memories in people who felt guilty about something, but likely a very simple expression of the real truth of things.
Where to next, little lady?
I'll let you decide.
It's awkward because Saz is just trying to cheer Vanille up without realizing the full extent of what Vanille's trying to go to, like, hide.
A Nautilus Park date. With Saz.
Yeah, but should we really be playing around?
Forget about that heavy stuff for a while. And maybe this'll just fade away.
That's not how it works. You both know that's not how it works. Oh well, I can't remember if... Yeah, we do have a fight at the end of this, so I have to worry about paradigms. But they should still be the same as how they were before. They've really designed the camera to do sweeping landscapes of the background, so you just get a full appreciation for just how much effort was put into the setting. Like, when I peer over the edge there, you can see people gathered there. They're not really moving, but it's still, for anyone who decides to park here and just look down, they actually see something. You don't see an empty street, you don't see just a void below. You see they've taken the time to actually model a living, breathing world here. You got the cars just driving around there. You look up and you see, like, the night sky with the thing floating. It's the dedication to just making sure all the details add up to a good scenario that makes the graphics in this game incredible. It's not just the fact that it's got, like, realistic graphics, it's the fact that they create environments that take full use of that capacity. They design incredible backgrounds and sky drops, and just there's always something happening in the background. It's not just the places that the characters walk around that you get to see. There's no empty horizons. There's always something that brings the scene to life.
You'll get the chance.
Every time they use the word hope in this game, it's really distracting. Reasons why you don't name characters after common verbs.
Can I come with you?
Sure. More the merrier. What about you? You got someone special out there?
Yeah, Fang.
Special? Nope.
Really? Now that is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm kidding. I didn't mean to upset you.
Well, I'm just fine, thank you. I wanted to tell him everything, but I couldn't. Not until the time was right.
There's never a right time for that, Vanille. Especially when it's something as awkward as, I'm the reason why your kid was giving a metaphorical death sentence. It's all my fault.
No, I forgot to buy.
Saz's run cycle is really interesting. He runs like a person who has never really run in their life.
Are we allowed to pet back again?
Oh, it's a little sheep thing.
Look at these really little things. I just want to squeeze them till they pop.
That's a bit morbid, Vanille.
Enjoy your ride.
You could just squeeze them until they feel loved and cared for. Not until they literally die. Gosh. Oh, we can go back to Nautilus Station.
We can go on this thing.
I don't think I've ever done that. It's telling me to go that one, but... How do I open the map? Yeah, I can go back to Nautilus Station. Probably to farm in case you can't actually beat the boss up ahead.
Can we go to the field?
Because I don't believe there's any chance to actually level up here, and if you've been, like me, skipping a lot of the fights, but unlike me, haven't played this game before and don't necessarily have a experienced grasp on how to actually beat bosses, it can be a lot harder. Also, I can't think of any theme park that would just leave adorable animals just out in the open. They're always behind cages. There's one thing about keeping a bunch of animals loose, someone's gonna get hurt. It's not necessarily gonna be as a result of the animal's fault, but someone is gonna get hurt.
You can make some new friends.
Dodge is crazy about chocobos. He really wanted to come here.
Well, instead you brought this girl.
Indeed. And in we go.
Ah, more and more Chocobo remixes. Nothing but. What are you owing about?
Wow, the toy looks just like the real thing.
It's generally the point of toys, Vanille.
I saw this one at the parade.
So yeah, when I first came here, I was a bit worried that it'd be like the Gold Saucer, where they're like, you have to play mini games in order to advance, but instead you get just these cute cutscenes with the baby Chocobo and these Chocobos. And one interesting thing about the Chocobos up here is that their biology is subtly different. The Chocobos on Pulse and the Chocobos on Cocoon are a little different, in the same way that like different breeds of horses are slightly different. It's just years of biological separation caused them to just form into distinct breeds that they're still like functionally, for the most part, exactly the same. But they're different enough that it's clear that they're they have a different history.
We hope you enjoy your visit.
Yep. I didn't pay attention to which general direction he flew off in, so now I guess I just run around hoping I can see a tiny, tiny Chocobo chick. Ooh boy. Can I get some help, Vanille? Oh boy. You're not here? Are you here? You can't just tell people to watch their children. There's one thing you know about parents en masse. There's going to be those one parents that just do not care about what their children are up to, as long as they're out of their hair. Really? Where are you? Oh, there you are. That is very mean. This is all very cute, but a little bit too, there you are.
Did we always sell these toys?
Just a little bit too much. It's not a very engaging little game of hide and seek. Alright, where are you off to next? At least after you find him for the first time, he's pretty easy to spot. Because you get to just watch him fly off in a particular direction. It may have been easy the first time around if I was actually watching the screen when he flew off. Alright, where did you head off to, little guy?
Look at that.
Look at what?
Yes, one flew the coop.
Oh, here we go. You're with your people. I'm not sure how you're flying with a wingspan that small. Oh no, you're leading the Chocobos on a rebellion. Yeah, I think the black screen loading is just a little bit... is one of the things that turns this from a mild annoyance to just no good. Because if that black screens alone ate up about a minute of time, that just makes everything frustrating. It makes everything take that much longer. Ooh, there's the Axis Blade. I don't have any money for this stuff. At least we found most of them. Don't need improved guard. Ooh, stagger maintenance. That's pretty good. What else do we got here? Bunch of unnecessary things. Alright, I do not want to do those chocobo finding thing again. And we're about to approach one of the more serious moments of the game that is a little bit of a narrative cheat. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it personally because it can feel real mean. I know, explain more as we get there.
Part of the gang already.
Always good to be among friends.
The fun times are doubled, and your worries feel far away.
When you're cuddling with a giant bird.
It's scary when you have someone to share it with.
You're still number one, of course.
Of course.
That bird won't be able to live there forever, Saz. It's gonna outgrow it.
Thanks, Vanille. Now when I see Dodge, I can tell him about the Chocobos. He's being held by the military.
Psychon, you mean?
Yeah.
The bird's just nomming on her shoulder.
They're running tests. They're trying to figure out his focus. I'm turning myself in.
Huh?
I know they execute Lassie, but hey, they're not total monsters. They'll listen to a final request. They'll have to. Before the end, I want to talk to Dodge one last time. I want to tell him about these Chocobos. I want to tell him about everything I've seen.
But wait!
So yeah, we were talking last time about how Saz was gonna...
I don't want you to worry.
facing a choice
You're not part of
between
this. You'll have plenty of
himself
time to
versus
split before I surrender.
his own well-being or his child's well-being. And of course, he's choosing his
I'm
child.
sorry, Vanille. I'm tired of all this running.
But you can't. What about Dodge? It's a lessee because of someone from Pulse. You can't give up without getting revenge. I know who it is. I know who's responsible for the accident. The accident at Uriday.
This is not a well thought out plan.
Then tell me.
The lessee who ruined your life was...
A chocobo stampede.
Soldiers? Where'd they come from? Get out of here, Vanille.
Convenient bullet fire to stop a confession? Oh boy. This game does that a little bit too much. You're about to get actual like exposition and people talking about what needs to happen and bam, interrupted by soldiers shooting at you. It really drives that you're on the lam point a little bit too much to, in this case, definitely artificially extend the drama. With better writing, you definitely could have... You could have had that happen more organically. Instead of having that, like, simple realization and, like, nope, that doesn't... You don't get to see how that turns out. Oh, this is gonna go poorly. Oh boy. Let's try not to die when this goes on. Ooh. Please cure me. I don't think this is the best idea to, yeah, let's just do one piece. Shoot him down. Ow, ow, ow. Shoot him down. There we go. Ow, ow, ow. Shoot him down. Continue shooting them down. Okay, we're done. Whew. Rough stuff. Yeah, I wasted too much time on that synergist roll. Oh well. How about no? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go this way. These guys tend to be really easy. Hey there, little guys. Switch to, undermine. There we go. See? Easy. Except when it does this. Nope. Ow. Perfect. My Vanille is so good that offensive saboteurs can't be beat. Alright, what else do we got? Just one? That can't be it. That's gonna be it. Weird that you give you a random encounter like that. It's not really a chance for you to do anything of note. Ooh. Guarding equipment though. Sure. This is definitely a bit of the slower part of the game. You just did go through like the main, like a really high intensity. Snow might be killed by Hope, but they might be killed by everyone, and everything's going down. And so it is good to have this, like, from a pacing perspective, this short break where they go to Nautilus and spend time with some chocobos is just really good for resetting the feel of the story. though they could have chosen a better way to ramp it back up than how they executed it this time. You're aiming way too high, man. Ooh boy. Get some heals out. Ow, come on, heal me. Alright. This for a bit. Ooh boy, this is a hard one. Get that in parallel. We can do it. Are you immune? Yeah, I'm immune. You're just resistant to it. How can you be susceptible to slow? I don't have Fang in here. Maybe I fight your class with the Fang around. Yeah, that Imperil just makes everything hurt. Makes the Ravager into damage deals simply because they do fire damage. But I could also just use Saz's Inflame ability to just make you do fire damage. That's kind of the advantage of Saz. And that's part of good character design, that each... Oh, this will be tough. Each character has something they can do that is really good, that benefits the party as a whole. So each character has their own appeal, even though I personally prefer some over others. Oh, this is going to start to hurt. Some more in peace. Ooh, that hurts. They're gonna do it again.
I owe you.
Oh, wiped him out. Do it during the shift. Better be worth my time. That's kind of worth my time. Hey, you want this improved debuffing one? Level it up just for that reason. Yeah, that's what we want. Improved curing. Ain't nobody got time for that. Pretty sure that's a boss fight up ahead. What does that look like? Yes, that is definitely the boss fight up ahead. We're gonna make it. Just barely. What are your medic abilities that you're gonna learn now? Ooh. Wait, that's pointless at this stage, because if Saz dies, we lose. And... what? Oh, yeah, that's the technique. Right. Still useless. Oh, now you got the accessories. Was that your third? Nice. Oh, it's just a second. Okay. Wasn't... oh, when did we get this? That's good. Makes my life easy. Ooh, buff duration plus. That's nice. Good stuff. That's one of the good things this game does, equipment-wise. Equipping certain combinations of equipment gives you really good synergy bonuses. I know a lot of games that do put synergy bonuses in often make it underwhelming. It's like attack plus 5%. It's like damage taken dealt +5 or something. That's not all that interesting. Whereas this one, like the benefits you get from synergy are actually way better than the actual accessories you're equipping, and that makes things much more interesting. Put some vigilance because this is gonna hurt. Oh, we're gonna need that Isuna. Ow. Alright, what do we got? Weak to all things, but do it. Too slow. Not done yet. Wait, is it? What is it? Resistant to thunder. Don't do that. Put it in water. There we go. Let's do this. Yeah, there we go. Look at that go. Fine. So yeah, this boss fight, pretty easy. A lot of these early boss fights with these two are pretty easy. Ooh, that knocked it into the air. That's cool. Oh, they really want you to completely fully debuff and all that. Oh, you lost your Imperil. Makes my water weaker. Come on, keep going. Yeah, there we go. Fortunately, Saz is not the best commander at this phase of the game. I don't think he ever becomes a very good commando. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Get that shell out, Finiel. Oh my god, boom. No good. Debuff out. Still no? Come on, man. Trust in you. Oh, yeah, there you go. Get that poison, and then we can switch. No? Fine, we'll just ditch the poison. Now that you're unstaggered. Boom. I like how this boss just ain't doing anything because our vigilance is just stopping it. Yeah, it's just not doing anything. Yeah, we're definitely staggering it with us actually staggering it and getting our vigilance up. If we had Fang here, we could also curse it. That'd just be so much better. Ah, staggered by the poison and then flame striked. Easy. Still took us a long time to get there. I think we fight an Eidolon up there.
Daddy, I found you.
Huh?
What? Why is Dodge here?
Daddy, got you.
Dodge, why are you here?
Because you promised.
But how did you get here?
Now, a bit of an incontinuity here. When Dodge turns to Crystal, just kind of encases him in Crystal, whereas earlier with Sarah, she like physically turned into Crystal. And it's just, there's possible explanations for it. It could be that the Cocoon Fal'Cie works on different principles than the Pulse Fal'Cie, but I'm pretty sure it exists specifically to just crystallize this image of Dodge, just to make this scene with Saz all the more harsh.
The capture of undesirables. It seems that was your son's focus. Dodge fulfilled it admirably and served Cocoon in the process. You should be proud of him. Mr. Catsroy. Dodge was a great help. He could sense power of Pulse origin. That let us monitor you.
And now he's gone.
Words can't express our gratitude.
So you don't have that power anymore.
The data he provided on enemyless sea was invaluable. And speaking of gratitude, we enhanced the surveillance footage from the energy plant.
Come back?
Those are the pulseless sea behind what happened.
We got close to a cocoon fal'Cie.
The picture's a little grainy, but I'm sure you recognize that one.
I like how this is their definition of little grainy. The actual stuff with just some random dark lines.
What's our focus even matter?
What's it matter? You want to be a monster?
I just...
Keep your chin up. We know the part that matters. Right? We are enemies of Cocoon. Know what I say? Play the part and raise some hell. Might jumpstart our memories.
What?
The fal'Cie. Let's smash it.
Who are you? Huh?
Ironically, the point of this doesn't really show that Fang and Neil are the bad guys. It mostly shows that the fal'Cie are mean. It's like, oh look, a 9-year-old. Let's conscript you into servitude. I'll solve my problem. You being the closest thing to my proximity.
Yes, that young lady's terrorist assault at Uriday Gorge is the reason Dodge was made a l'Cie.
Yes, we call drawing your weapons in an elevator a terrorist assault.
The very girl you're protecting is the one who stole your son.
No.
Hold.
She's running into the transport carrier, so there's really no sense shooting her. Also, we're pretty sure our guns do nothing, given the amount of times the protagonists have been shot in battle and it's done nothing of interest.
Colonel Labat, what now?
Follow them and observe. How often do l'Cie kill their own?
In this strange world where you have like a scientist commander thing, Colonel Labat's job is very vaguely defined. It's like, oh no, we get Saz's. Right. Yeah, Colonel Labat's role is very vaguely defined because, like, she acts like a researcher, but is, you know, apparently in control of a battalion of soldiers, which is a bit weird. Probably Crystarium, because this is a very difficult part. It's not that one. Just a little bit of a bonus to make things easier. Alright. Let's get Saz's mediocre summon.
Why did I even try to run? What was waiting wasn't something I could change.
What even is this setup?
You are cold-blooded. Lying so people would trust you. Using them as shields. How many you gotta drag down with you? A coward and a killer. The people you use don't get to live. Why should you?
Just random psychotic break from one of your main characters, no big deal.
Tired of living with guilt? Then die with it.
Although this is more than just her lying to Saz, what's not known to the audience at this point is how she's lied to Fang as well. Which is good that they've made it mostly about Saz, and so it still makes sense both ways.
My name is Herbe d'Avenir. I'm a lassie from Grand Pulse. And to everyone on Cocoon, evil. Shoot me for your son.
Don't you even! You think you die, and that's that? Hmm? You think you die and everything will be sugar and rainbows?
Then what can I do? What do you want from me? If I can't live or die, what do you want me to do?
Don't ask me. You figure it out.
I don't know!
Nobody knows what to do.
Neither do I. It's over.
So in this time, since the Chocobo thing, Saz's crest has advanced. Likely when he saw Dash turn into crystal. And now the Eidolon appears. Hey, what up? Good to see you, weird guy.
Do your worst, you freak!
It's not over.
Okay, fine. You want me? Come and get me!
So yeah, these last two sequences are definitely one of the turning points of the game's story, when things both start to make a little bit more sense and characters start to really come into their own. It's all just very, very good stuff. Hey, don't shoot me, man. Okay, give myself that vigilance. Alright, you moved to poison, that's a shame. Kneel that vigilance. Ooh boy, that just hurts. Ooh. Okay. Ow. That sure hurts. Oh, you know it'd be great? In water. Jesus. Give me a break. Come on, maintain that chain. There we go. I didn't give myself in water though. Oh yeah, I forgot the auto abilities really vanish quickly. And we lost it. Ow, 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 ow. Could you not? Could you kindly not? Of course fire's absorbed. Fire elemental. That'll help. There we go. No, don't do that. Whoop. Not me to repel? Yeah, you're not. Frick, that hurts. Ooh, good cures. Come on. Jeez, it hurts so much. You're still so far from that Gestalt gauge. On 100. So close. I don't think we're gonna get there though. Nope. And this is us dying. Dead.
Yes. Daddy's not gonna make it.
I think it's a good idea to use one of our some of our shrouds here just to get through this. Yeah, won't have to cure so much. Yes, yes, load into the cutscene. We'd all want to see that sequence again so soon. Oh hey, it loads back into this. Gives us a chance to level Vanille up just a little bit. Some of your Ravager abilities up. That's all we get. Alright. Alright, let's not lose our chain bonus this time. Vigilance. Myself. Didn't help me with that. Vigilance. On. Vanille. Water on myself. Water on Vanille. We can do this. Please. Is it like fully? Oh boy. Yeah, you managed to get a fully debuffed with all that. That's cool. Ow. Let's just get a real quick faith on Vanille. And you know what, you cannot divine. No crap. We lost it. Switching to the wrong one. Boy, it hurts so much. There we go. And ow. Come on, that's so fair. Not supposed to blow us up. Ow. Ooh boy. 123 life left. That's good. That just means she mass cures me as opposed to using Cura. Which, until they get 4 pieces to their life, is the better scenario. Alright, we're doing way better this time. Partially because we've split up so that we're not just getting stomped by all those AoEs. See? So much better. Also the Deceptive Assault, or the Age Assault really helped. Still cutting it real close, though. I really need to put a Ravager up, I think. Come on. We're so close. Oh no, she's getting staggered. Nope. Oh, it was just up there too. Did you see that? Ah. Give it another go. Alright, to make things easier, we can use both. Because it seems like they lasted the whole fight, which is good. Partially because the synergist roll means as you add buffs, it extends the duration of all the buffs you have on so far, and all that jazz. So all we really need to do now is in water ourselves and go. Nah, I don't need to level up Vanille. Strange that it didn't save that leveling up. Ah well. In water. In water. I forgot to put a Ravager up. Oh well. Let's do run. Ow, ow, ow. It hurts. Ow. Bam. Yeah, I think that's one of the big things holding me back is that I got Saws on Commando here rather than Ravagers, and I don't have any Ravager thing. That's a big holdup for sure. Ace though, real good. Those shrouds make a huge difference. Come on, do your worst. But don't actually do your worst, because your worst is actually pretty bad. How? We don't actually have vigilance, do we? That's fine. We'll be fine without it. Oh yeah, we're doing so much better this time. Look at that. Too bad damage don't matter. Oh, maybe let's not die. That'd be nice. And I just died to natural DPS because I switched to the wrong roll. Good plays, me. Alright. Can't change my paradigm, so I'm up there. I do have vigilance. Alright, let's do things correctly this time. Welcome back to doing the same boss over and over again. Yeah, we'll actually do the paradigms this time. Freaking divide and conquer. Whose idea was that? Dual casting. A much better one. Yes, hello. Nope, didn't want that one. Pretty good. Get that undermine out. Oh look, you already got him fully debuffed. There we go. Build that chain up. Switch to War and Peace. Keep her HP up. Boy, that hurts so much. Thanks for the heals. This is gonna hurt. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, they sure made this one real tough. Without using shrouds, it'd be very difficult to do this one. And then explode. Oh boy, that hurts.
This is gonna sting. I owe you.
Saboteur. Ow. Rude. Okay, we're doing fine this time. Access to dual casting, making this much easier. Look at that fly up. And there we have it. Come over here, Brynhilde. Turn into a car. Let Saz go through his midlife crisis in a flashy, fire-filled sports car.
That's right. Let's do it.
Good old hair adjustment at the end. It's what you want to see. I always find it weird that the target time for these Eidolons is always much longer than the time on that Doom counter that actually dominates the fight. Possibly because they actually do need to have an HP stat, and their HP stat is just set arbitrarily high, such that you never have a chance to actually kill the Eidolon. You have to do the Gestalt thing. Alright, we're coming up to the point I said earlier that you should never do this in real life, so content warning, this is going to get real dark.
A lot of things can be excused. Shooting kids ain't one.
Kindness like his, you don't forget.
Enough is enough.
And so, Saz isn't actually dead. But they frame it to pretend that he is, for reasons that don't really make any sense. Like, they make it look like a... They sure make it look like he's dead there, but he isn't. And they just frame it in such a way that you just, like, think that's what happened, and that they've gone real serious with this. But in the end, it's mostly just to fool you. It doesn't really accomplish anything narratively.
For every task,
It's just explicitly there to make you think something happened that didn't happen. It's a very cheap trick. And it's sure, when you later on they show you what really happened, it just makes you feel lied to.
With us dead, they were sure everything would go back.
So just, generally speaking, don't do that. Don't explicitly frame things in such a way that your reader's gonna make assumptions that you did certain things. Don't lie to them, essentially. Because, like, yeah, you didn't actually see Saz shoot himself, so you just assumed he did. It's like, this game goes well beyond the you didn't see it. If it just blacked out after Saz pulled the trigger and it went back to see, like, oh, he didn't actually shoot himself, He just shot it in just above, which is what really happened. He just shot it just above his head and misses. Not really misses, just doesn't shoot himself. But given that they showed you that scene later with him being wheeled away, it's like heavily implied that's what happened, if not essentially outright stated, only to have the rug just scooped out from under you, because nope, that's not really what happened, and screw you for thinking that that's what happened. So, don't do that. That's just really, really cheap writing. We are, of course, approaching the huge shift.
So what's with the freak show? So the Primarch can stand in judgment.
We're about to get all the party together.
With their execution as the climax.
And have a huge shift in the way that the game plays out from then on.
And Fal'Cie dominion will be undisputed.
All part of the plan.
Yes, but it also presents an opportunity.
In a display of unwavering dedication to duty, the Primarch himself has boarded the Palamisia and focused his personal attention on resolving the Pulse crisis.
They're baiting us, trying to draw us out.
Bait, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Here are your friends. Come and get them.
Well, if they're daring us to mount a rescue...
No, Snow. That's not how it works.
All in.
Alrighty, bets are on the table.
Oh, they're just accepting that as a course of action? This is an obvious trap to bait us into a thing. Let's do that thing that they're baiting us to do. It happens way too often in fiction, where they're like... where it's very clear that this will not work, and yet they still do it. But at least we've almost got the full party together. I think there's this final scene in the Palamisia, and then we head off. And then we head off to do the thing. Can we upgrade? Nah, we don't have a thing for it. But this access plate is one I'm definitely keeping, and we just don't have materials for it. Because I haven't been doing the random encounters. So yeah, we'll probably go a little bit longer here. And then reach what will essentially be the just before the huge shift in tone and huge shift in plot. No charging in without a plan. That's all you know how to do, Snow, so I'm not going to pay attention to that.
Another cavalry unit rescued him. Kinda wish I could talk to him.
Yep. There's the choice theme coming back up. What up, Fang? I said, what up, Fang? There we go.
Let's get this show. I finally found the
Oh yeah. Yeah, once we take off, there's no turning back, yada yada yada. Let's do this.
This baby back here is a SciComm vessel. It'll deliver you to the Palamisia.
Oh, we're cargo now?
A parting gift to our rotting government. Take those SciComm guys apart.
Final Fantasy continuing the anti-establishment motifs that goes across the entirety of the series.
Bring them on. Vanille's in there.
I'm sure she's fine.
Come on, you've been listening to Snow too
Tougher
much.
than I could ever be.
You don't just charge in guns blazing and hope things work out. That's what got Hope's mom killed.
Scared?
Yeah, I'm terrified. But I'll be okay. Because I have you, and this guy, and Fang.
You barely know
We're
Fang.
all in this mess. We gotta stick together.
But at least it's an important speech to sort of explain why they're sticking together. Even though, by design of them all being l'Cie, there's really no reason why they shouldn't. But it's important to show like the character growth, because this is episode 6, so not 8 hours ago, they were all basically at each other's throats the moment they all got together and completely disagreeing about all courses of action. Now that they've had their chance to form into their duos and form personal connections with individual people and each other, it helps the group cohesion quite a bit. Also, that's even more confusion of Colonel Nabat's role in the system of all this. She has personal access to the Primarch.
Is a leader's charge?
What, like, how many hats does she wear that she's like primary l'Cie researcher, apparently in command of some amount of soldiers, left hand to the Primarch. What else? Are we going to find out that she's like head of the local government too? Like, I understand from a storyteller's perspective, you don't necessarily want to create too many new characters if they're going to be extremely minor. If, for example, if that was just some random person that we never heard from again as being the left hand of the Primarch, it would be kind of a waste of time and attention. Whereas just making her this character that we've already seen before allows us to connect to that character a little bit more and understand things a little bit more easily. But at the same time, you end up with weird situations like that where her role is just so loosely defined and so broad stroked that it can't possibly be all of her responsibilities to be doing all that. God, that's such a cool technology. I'm so unclear about how it functions. But that's sort of the joy of science fiction. Everything works in a strange way and everything just looks cool. Alright, we're approaching the shift. What many people refer to as the end of the tutorial, which is not the best way to put what's going to happen. It's the point where we get the ability to choose our own party and enter Grand Pulse, where we have the capacity to where it's less of a hallway running game and more of a free explorations part of the game. But as I've shown previously, like, the hallways have only really been a problem when we were... Oh, who are we playing as? Oh, cool. We only really problem when we were playing as Lightning and Hope, and it just went on longer than it should have. For everything else, it's been... Because the game is focused so frequently shifting what's going on. Okay, here we go. Has so frequently shifted the focus of things, and all of those hallways have enough branching paths that it feels like you have the capacity to explore without penalizing you for that very self-same exploration. Ooh, boy. It all works out. It all feels better. How could you not save my previous... How could you not see my previous loadout? I had aggression listed. And take him out. That's not what I wanted. Alright, let's get that smite action. Oh, or don't. Or just kill him. Hey look, those incentive chips we needed. Good to see.
Looks like they want to play.
This is another problem of the way that the story is written as this, like, battle-focused video game. They can't... Like, the story, the plan of sneaking onto the Primarch and doing something just immediately failed. Like, like 2 steps off of the craft that brought them in here. They're already exposed, and people are coming to fight them. And that happens essentially specifically because this is a video game, because they want to give you these situations where, oh, now you gotta use your fighting to fight your way through the enemies. Because otherwise you would just be watching cutscenes or just running through hallways with no random encounters. So it really weakens the narrative for this just to immediately fail for no reason. But from the fact that you're playing a video game perspective is par for the course. A lot of video games just do this, and it's no huge deal. It's just moderately frustrating. Ooh, get that curse. Oh yeah, and you got a long way to go, don't you? We're not using him yet, but we're gonna use him pretty quick, so we might as well get him up there. I do like the way that they deal with the Ravagers in this game, where each Ravager has a primary element, which determines which element they learn the AoE elements of, such as Lightning gets Thundaga, Hope gets Eroga? No, Vanille gets Eroga. What does Hope get? Hope gets Fyra. And so each Ravager has a specialty element that they get the AoE from, and each Ravager has an element that they don't get any of the elements from. Or they only get the base... Actually, I think they eventually get the AoE ones for all the elements. But they get them at different speeds, so they have different priorities on that. And we gotta recustomize all of your stuff. Relentless Assault. Actually, we want Ruthless. Deep Aggression. I hate Delta Attack, but diverse... Diversity. Don't want Solidarity, but we want Combat Clinic. Even to oh wait, that's too many medics. Let's get Bully. It's not the worst. And protection. Feel like that's a decent... Nah, screw Bully. Huh. What do we do for this one then? Yeah, let's get that strike team. No, that's a bad one. Sure. Actually, no, this is the best one. Gorilla. There we go. That's a set of paradigms. Okay, so I'm just gonna run by you because I don't really care. And let's see what's awaiting us on the other side. We have to fight you. Well, isn't that something? Never mind. What's up, guys? I'm here to beat you up. Here we go. There's not enough for me to do the AoE attacks. Oh, you're guarding? Oh, in that case. Let's just kill these guys then. How? Oh, wow. Fang's almost dead. That's good to know. Never good. Don't really have any good AoE ones. I just don't like these three units. Like Fang, Hope, and Lightning just make such a mediocre team together. Alright, let's stagger the crap out of this guy. Yeah, got all you want. And now you're in trouble. And done. Thanks for that final hit, Fang. But I think for your first foray into a three-person party, although it's not really your first, but your first one of being able to select the paradigms for, is a decent starting one because it is highly defensive, given that you have the defensive synergist Fang as well as the defensive saboteur and the defensive synergist all in the same party. It's very easy to make paradigms that are just difficult for you to die with. But at the same time, then the challenge becomes making a set of paradigms that not just allows you to survive the encounters, but also to succeed with relative speed. Because all of the combat in this game is about opportunity cost. It's about when you spend your time setting up your defenses, you're not spending your time defeating the enemies. Which is honestly the better way of doing combat systems compared to the old solely based on resource management, where you could use your really strong ability all the time, but that takes mana. And I got a decline in that phone call because unfortunately because unfortunately when you make things take mana, when you make all of your good abilities have an MP bar and like a limited resource that doesn't replenish for you to cast it with, you end up in the situation where you can't make your random fights so difficult that your player has to use those limited resources in abundance in order to succeed. Otherwise, you also have to include ways for them to get it back in order for them to advance. Otherwise, because then you end up, if your characters run out of MP before the end boss, well then they're just going to run back to the previous save point and try to do it all again. And if you give them a way to regen it, well then, essentially you might just make it too easy. You make it that they use the... I don't have Quake yet. The focus then becomes not in managing your resources well, but in... Oh boy. It becomes not managing your resources well, but like using fights as a way to increase your availability of resources. And that's not particularly engaging. The better way to do it is to... Oh boy. Okay. You guys are immune to the thunder. The only ways that does work is in games like Persona and games like Dark Souls, where trying to venture out, running out of resources, and returning to a safe zone is the way that the entirety of those combat scenarios are structured. They are made for you to explore as far as you can, maybe get a turnout, get wrecked in combat and run out of resources, and have to go back to a save point and try to get further the next time. That's part... The dungeons are, and the exploration mechanics are built with this in mind, and as a result, they're able to get away with this kind of resource management, because in that case, having to reset isn't necessarily stopping you from proceeding through the game. It's just the way that the game is built that is about making small steps forward into an unfamiliar world. For a game like this, where the game is about constant forward progression, forcing you to go back to an earlier save point because you ran out of resources isn't that engaging, or making it so that you're not going to use all the resources that you find because the regular fights are too easy, you can do without it. So why would you waste your time doing it? Oh boy. And this is further compounded by the idea that... Oh boy. This is further compounded by the idea that... Oh, what was I even talking about? Oh yeah, further compounded by the idea that if you make it too easy to recover those resources, then instead what you do is just have a situation where they just use the resource abilities as much as they want to, honestly, and then... Oh, someone died. Use the resource abilities as much as they want to, and then just spam the MP restore things. It's not the greatest scenario if your resources are so easy to accrue that the player feels absolutely no obligation to manage their resources. And so the other way that works is the old Tales of Symphonia way, where you generate resources by the actions that you take within combat. And what this means is, when you're doing combat, you're trying to use your abilities roughly at the same speed as which you're using your resources. You're trying to use your resources at roughly the speed at which they regenerate. I don't have Relentless Assault, eh? Oh well. You're trying to use your abilities at roughly the same speed at which they're being depleted. Except for when you believe that there's a boss fight coming up, or that you're going to need to save them for a tougher fight, in which case you can just spend a random encounter generating resources to be ready for that. But even then, especially with the Tales games, they tend to be balanced such that you can always recover those resources with items if you really need them really quickly. And rarely are your characters completely useless when they're out of that basic resource. They make it fairly easy for you to get a good amount of that MP or TP back on the fly. The third way is sort of the third way of managing resources, other than this where you kind of only have opportunity cost, and one where you would say, oh boy, let's get rid of this guy. Oh, we should probably be using our AoE Saboteur here. The third way, other than these two, is what I like to call the resource generation one, where you don't have any long-term resources, and the only thing you do is, as you're in combat, you generate something like a rage meter or like a combo meter. Kind of the stagger system works this way, where it always starts at 0 at the start of combat, but the choices you make within combat build your resource up in a way that allows you to... Ooh, this is gonna hurt. In a way that allows you to build it up. Okay. There goes hope. Oh boy, we're running out of Phoenix Downs. Ow, ow. The advantage of that is that each fight is its own puzzle, it has its own ups and downs associated with the way that fights are supposed to be. And with no long-term resource management, it also means, oh boy, it also means that you don't have to worry about players running out of resources or having to come back. You don't have to worry about them trying to only use resources as quickly as they use them. And instead you build individual combat scenarios based on the choices that they will or will not make as a result of this limitation. And some of the classes in Diablo 3 function based on this idea. The warrior, or I think the barbarian specifically, is one that builds its rage meter as the combat progresses, but doesn't necessarily have any at the beginning of combat. And the advantage of this is that it forces you to think about how your abilities work. It basically brings intense resource management into the combat itself. You have to prioritize between weaker abilities that build a resource versus stronger abilities that take this resource that you've built up, and gives combat a rhythm between building and spending that makes... I do not want to do this fight, actually, so we're going to do this the easy way. It makes you build between those two modes of building and spending that can make your combats feel much more... just much more living. Make it feel more alive, and yeah. No thank you. Come on, you gotta build up that stagger gauge, man. Don't just block for me. Ooh, boy. Is it gonna hurt him? Yeah, we gotta do this before he dies. Oh wait, no, he's gonna be immune to that. Build it up. Build it up. Continue building it up. There we go. Tough times. So those are essentially the best ways to deal with resource management in... Oh boy, a lot of them didn't even get staggered. Oh, jeez. Well, at least it was those guys that didn't get staggered. Making me do the hard work. Okay, we're good now. Oh boy, you didn't go after this guy, Fang. Ah, well, I got him. And so, with this one, you don't really have resources, of course, other than TP, which isn't a huge factor. Oh no, he died. What a shame. Instead, everything you do is based on opportunity cost. So, whatever, when you choose to do one thing, the only cost associated with it is the fact that you didn't also do this other thing. You can either, you know, you can attack as a commander, or you can attack and increase the stagger gauge as a Ravager, or you can heal as a medic. You choose to do one of those things, but because you're doing one of those things, you can't do the other things. And it's about reading combat and choosing the course of action that is most appropriate to the situation at hand. Here, yeah, we immediately get told, like, it's been, time it, like 20 minutes since they lied to us about him dying. And there he is, perfectly fine. Because they lied to us about him dying. And here we get to see this. And so, like, they really should have just blacked out after this. Bam. And then when we come back to this, we see that he's okay. It's like, oh, so what really happened? We see this. That extra scene with him being wheeled away. Really, real cheap. It's a cheap emotional ploy. Should not have been included, and it really weakens the effect that otherwise could have been had if this was just let to speak for itself. If this was able to...
Why can't I do it?
To be its own thing.
I got no reason to keep living. I can't even kill you.
And yeah, this is what happens. They get, after they turn out not to kill each other, she gets very mad and knocks Saz out and drags him away. And it's alright. Like, they could have, them writing themselves into this corner where they have to knock Saz out at the end of this just really weakens all of it.
Your son's a hero. The boy who saved Cocoon. We'll erect a memorial in Eden and put his crystal on display.
A memorial? He's a little boy!
As the son of a pulseless sea, he would have lived in shame and misery. Isn't it better he be treated with reverence as a monument to sacrifice?
Correct.
The next time your eyes open will be the last.
That's demonstrably untrue. And so yeah, this scene could have gone in so many better ways if they didn't have to bookend it by Saz getting knocked unconscious. It could have been... And so them limiting themselves to that outcome because they wanted to spend time lying to you. Not the greatest. Not the greatest way of forming that. And it's a black spot in an otherwise good scene.
Now, I've been thinking. You woke up from being a crystal once. That means Dodge will wake up one day too, right?
Yep. Even if you won't be around to see it. So it's partial success.
What was it like? I mean, how did it happen? You were done with your focus, right?
I was chosen. I was made into a Lassie to fight against Cocoon. It happened back on Grand Pulse, hundreds of years ago.
As far as you can tell.
We finished our focus, and we fell into a long crystal sleep.
Flashback. Because that's what this game does a lot of. It's all flashbacks. Flashback, Final Flashback 13. Of course, if you imagine all of those statues housed other Pulse Lassie, you can imagine that this has happened many times before. Previous crystallized Lassie reawoken to continue another focus late in the future. But all those pillars are empty now. And so it sort of seems like this is one of those situations where, like, this was one last chance that the crystal had, or that the fal'Cie had, to try and continue this weird war between Pulse fal'Cie and Cocoon fal'Cie. But it does explain to a certain extent, Cocoon's hate on for the Pulse Lassie, because Feng and Vanille clearly are not the first. So other Lassie from Pulse likely have awoken inside of Cocoon through this grand Pulse fal'Cie and just sort of wreaked havoc.
On Cocoon. To the start of a new focus. Fang, she'd forgotten everything. And for me, just the thought of hurting people again. It was too much. So I lied. I played dumb. Said I'd lost my memory. I wanted to escape my fate as a Lassie. And ever since then, I've been running away from it.
Running away being the theme of the beginning of the game. It's essentially what everyone's doing. But now we're reaching the point where they... Well, I guess no. The turning point is sort of the end of running away.
You trying to get him angry?
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd run. There's been enough blood spilled.
That wasn't gonna work, Snow.
You thought they'd run? Let me refresh your memory. Those soldiers think they're protecting Cocoon from Lassie. The fal'Cie have them all brainwashed.
fal'Cie? I have had it. We cannot let this go on.
Attention all crew. Code green. Repeat. Code
How
green.
is...
Security forces stand by. Hostile forces on board.
How is Code Green more serious than Code Red? What kind of weird color rating system have you created such that that is the case? Please tell me I still have. Good. Didn't want to have to deal with that. See, what do we want to level? Let's get the Ravager up. Ooh, nice arrow. You should go up as a synergist because you got a lot of stuff. One of the ways that, and an interesting way that Final Fantasy XIII 2, I guess you could say iterated on this system, there we go, is that it's kind of weird what they did to change the Crystarium system in that regard. But I suppose I'll have to talk about that next time on the deep dive, because we've been at this for about 2 hours, so I feel like this is a good place to close it off. So thank you everyone who joined me for this episode of the deep dive, and if you're around tomorrow, make sure to join us for a Final Fantasy XV multiplayer stream as I set up the multiplayer for Final Fantasy XV, and check that out. It's supposed to come out tomorrow and it looks really good, honestly. So I hope you can join us. It'll be streamed on Twitch, and until next time, have a good night.